Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to Unit Lost. I'm Stylosa and this is going to be a basic look at construction in EverQuest Next Landmark and just how easy it is to actually build stuff. So this whole video happens over a period of 1.5 hours, but obviously I've condensed this down to around 15 minutes or so. I'm going to give you commentary and explain what the hell's going on. So I'm in the desert and I'm going to find a place where I can put my claim down. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is build some sort of desert temple style thing, kind of in this bit of a mountain. So the first thing we do is we get the claim flag and we kind of work out the best place to put the claim flag. Like, we don't really want too much underground. Like, I kind of want a bit of aerial space to kind of allow me to build up. So that's why I kind of decided to do that, and I think that kind of works okay. So first thing we need to do if we're going to build a temple is we need to build temple pillars. Now, EverQuest Next is quite the powerful construction tool. So what I'm doing is I've selected the type of material I wanted, which I believe is intricate stone. I've built the base, and now I'm starting to build the pillar itself. Now, the reason why I'm just building the pillar randomly in the middle of nowhere is because I intend to select the pillar. Now, this is what I'm doing now. On my hotbar at the bottom, you can see on number 4, that is a selection tool. So what I'm doing now is drawing a selection box around the pillar I've placed on the ground, so I can copy sections of it. Now what I'm doing at this point is I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'll copy the bottom and then I'll paste that onto the top, although it kind of doesn't work, and I sort of end up getting a little bit like, yeah, maybe I can do something a bit better than this, and I didn't really like the way that was going to turn out. But that kind of shows you how you can highlight sections of things that you build, but I will go on to in a second show you how I highlighted the whole pillar. You see, like, I was kind of going to put that on the top, and I'm like, yeah. But anyway, I digress. So I decided to forget that bit on the top because I'm going to build something a bit different for the actual roof of the pillar, I guess. So yeah, I've selected the pillar. You can see with the dotted lines, that means on the bottom of the selection tool, that's underground, that it's going to select what's under there. Now, what I'm going to do is save this as a template. So I'll give it a name. So I click the menu on the left, where the little flag is, click the house icon, save the template as pillar, and there it is. And I literally just go in and select the template now if I want to use that, and click place, I believe. Yes, place. There we go. And then we can just drop another pillar down. So it's a really quick way of building things which, like, if you think things like stairs or steps or something which is going to have to be, you know, repeated a hell of a lot, you can sort of just build a component of that and kind of just paste it in. It's really easy. Also, what you can do as well is you don't have to save as a template if you don't want to save the item you've selected as a template. What you can do is just press ctrl+c for copy and ctrl+v, and it will paste. So what will happen is you'll get what you can see there. Basically when anything's yellow, that's the add tool, and if you left click, you will add that to the world. So if you was to then, let's say, click ctrl+c on the pillar and ctrl+v, it would then change from the selection tool to the yellow tool, which is the add tool, and then you could left click and place it wherever you wanted to. So what I'm doing here is I'm just sort of like excavating a bit of the, you know, like a bit of the base out. I'm sort of trying to make it kind of fit in. I'm changing the size of my delete tool. If it's blue, it's the delete tool. I mean, I guess basically what I've got at the bottom of the screen, these are the basic tools. So I've got the, on 1 is the add tool, so that's for adding stuff to the world. On 2 is the delete tool, that's for deleting stuff. 3 is the heal tool, it's like a little plaster or band-aid, I guess. And that will repair the voxels to their original state, so it will remove anything you put down, and it will just basically be as you found the plot to begin with, which is pretty handy because you can repair certain areas, and it's pretty funky. And number 4 is the selection tool. Now these are 1, 2, and 3. You get them when you place a claim down. The selection tool you have to actually craft. I don't know what I think about having to craft tools. I think they should probably just give you all the tools anyway. But these are the basic tools, and I believe more tools will get added as the alpha goes on. But even so, just with these very basic tools, the stuff you can do is pretty ridiculous. So what I've got at the moment is, well, what I'm trying to do is work out the equal spacing between the pillars. I kind of don't get it right. It's fairly close, but I am like, it really annoys me not to get it right. I've actually fixed it now, but you don't see it on this video because I decided to not put that bit in, as the video would just be going for ages and ages and ages. But you can see how I've pulled out the template for the pillar, so I don't have to actually rebuild the pillar, which is such a good thing. So I've kind of put it down, and it kind of doesn't really fit, sort of, does it? So I'm thinking maybe I can move this pillar on the left, so I'm sort of deleting that pillar and removing it. Now you can use the selection tool and then use the delete tool to delete your selection. I have found though that, I mean, it is early alpha, so things are a little bit janky, as I keep saying, so a little bit dodgy to use. It can be easier just to pick the delete tool, get the cube, and just delete your way like that. At the moment, it seems a lot easier. Also, when you're actually building stuff, and like if you're placing items down into the world, like blocks and shapes and whatnot, if you press G on the keyboard, it will release it from the grid. Now, at the moment, you can probably see as I'm moving the mouse pointer around, my selection is kind of snapping to the world. That means I've got it on grid. Now if I press G, it will go off grid, and it gives you a little bit more flexibility. I swap between it pretty fast when I'm trying to place these pillars, because it was a little bit annoying. As I actually worked out, is if you do build the entire base properly, see where I'm trying to build over like a gap in the ground, it is much easier to place things down for whatever reason, but it just is. So there's a little tip. So if you're going to actually, if you want to build pillars or something, build your foundation first. Don't kind of do what I've been doing. So the pillar's down, but it's not down level. So if you look at the middle pillar and look at the pillar I'm standing on, can you see where I'm starting to delete this outer edge of the pillar? That's to kind of make it line up, because it just doesn't line up. Now, ordinarily, I guess in a game like Minecraft, you would have to remove the entire pillar because it would be made of cubes. In EverQuest Next, because it's voxel based, you can just change the size of your brush basically. And so I'm just starting to remove the kind of the outer skin. Now obviously this means I'm going to have to remove the back and the front. I'm going to have to do some touching up, but it does give you that ability to repair stuff. Obviously, on the other hand, things can get a little bit complicated, and it is pretty easy to make a mess of things. Like, you can really wreck stuff. So like a really good tip I can give you as well is take your time. Don't try and speed build things, because you might, you know, end up in a bit of difficulty, and it can be a bit of a pain up the ass to recover. You can use the heal tool to just, you know, reset the voxels, but that could remove a lot of hard work. You know, if you spent a load of time making something very intricate, but you've sort of made a big mistake or something, or I guess, like, well, you'd have to make a couple of mistakes, because you can actually undo. I think it's ctrl+z, although don't quote me on that, but I think it is. But you can undo like your last brush basically. So if you drop down a sphere for whatever reason, like if I put a sphere down now, it would totally wreck what I've built, but I could undo that and it'd be fine. But anyway, going back to what I'm actually doing, again, it's like I'm trying to make these pillars actually line up, and instead of completely removing the pillars, I can just chop away and chisel little bits of the pillar off. And of course, there's loads of different tools as well. Like, I'm just using the square tool, or the cube, and I use this quite a lot because I found it's kind of the most simplistic tool to use from the get-go. Some of the others can be a little bit kind of irritating sometimes to use. And obviously, everybody's played Minecraft, so a lot of people they can kind of build with cubes much faster than they can with crazy shapes, which, yeah, you could really spend like an age trying to build something, you know, like a little bit of a, I don't know, a bit of detail or something. So what I've done there is I've kind of made it match now, so that's kind of okay. Although the middle pillar does need the reverse of it deleting because it's too thick, which I think I noticed that now. Hopefully, do I notice that? Yes, I do. So there we go. So I realised that, okay, it's a bit too thick. Well, that's fine, because we can just delete that, and the pillar looks perfect. Because really, there's no excuse in EverQuest Next Landmark to not actually spend the time and make something as perfect as you can get it, because they have given you the tools to do this. It's just totally crazy. So what I'm doing now is I'm placing another pillar, because I'm thinking, okay, if we've got like 4 pillars, I guess we can sort of start working back into the mountain face now. But it kind of looks a little bit silly, that pillar does there, so I think I'll delete it. And again, using the cube delete tool, as I say, if it's blue, it means I'm about to delete something. And obviously, I'm pressing 2 on my keyboard to get the delete tool pretty quick. And you can see how fast it is to remove something that you don't actually want there. And so I've gone for the pillar again. I don't need to use any of the rotation tools, so I'm quite happy just leaving it on the axis tool. I believe... Actually, no, am I about to rotate it? No, I don't know. But the hotkey for that at the moment is Shift plus Tab, and you can change from rotation to scale to, you know, the different axes and stuff. So this is kind of like a little bit of a... This is where EverQuest Next really does set itself apart from the crowd. I mean, the crowd really is only Minecraft, ain't it? Let's be honest. But look at this now. You can add bits of detail like this. What I'm doing is adding a bit of... I think is that polished granite or granite roof tile, something like that. It's fancy granite. The smallest possible cube I can put down, and I'm starting to add detail. Now, you can spend a hell of a long time adding detail to things, and it really, really shows. I've seen people who have built things in the world, okay? it looks impressive if you build a massive castle, but to me, it's more impressive if you actually take the time and build something that is worth looking at. So it's not just about building something massive, it's about building something which has detail, you know, has got effort that's gone into it. I'm not saying there hasn't been effort gone into massive castles and stuff, because there is, but it would be really easy to build a massive castle in EverQuest Next Landmark, because all you would do is you build one section of the castle, save it as a template, and then build it again and again and again and again, and you'd have like you could build like a massive wall really quick. And obviously that's a testament to the engine, it's really powerful, but it wouldn't look very good. See, I think a lot of time is going to be spent on things like detail and not so much on the actual bulk of what's going on, like of the construction. So this here, I've realised that what I've done is I've kind of made this a bit too thick, and yeah, so after I've just gone through all the effort of putting that down, I've now got to delete it. But look how fast it was to delete it. Literally no effort. I kind of deleted a bit of the wall at the back there, which I didn't mean to do, but you know, it doesn't kind of matter. So I'm trying to delete this now, so I'm changing my tool to match up, and I still need to maybe remove a little bit. No, that's fine, because you can see, yeah, so there we go, that's fine. Continuing to add that little piece of detail. So I would, I can't remember how long into the actual build this would be, but as I said, the build was around about 1 hour and 30 minutes long, so it's not the best build by any means, but it does show you what is, you know, what even the most newbie of players can do, because this is the most complex build I've put together, and it hasn't really taken me any time. So what I'm doing now is deleting this like inner section of my I guess my little temple area. Look how fast this is. I've just got the delete tool on. It's just the cube. I'm deleting, I'm just left clicking basically. It's so easy to delete, and I've got it on grid. You can see the way it's snapping, so it's snapping to each like kind of block of voxels. If I press G, it will take it off the grid, but then it'll get a little bit difficult. I've noticed that if I take it off the grid and start deleting, you can end up with like weird problems where you delete bits of the wall you didn't want to delete, and you end up messing about with the heal tool trying to fix it, and it just becomes a bit of a, yeah, it becomes a bit of a ball ache. So I would honestly say in almost every case, you're better having the build tool on the grid, or the delete tool on the grid, or even the heal tool on the grid. But obviously sometimes you can take it off the grid. So what I'm doing now is I'm like, well, maybe I can put some sort of roof tile or roof something up on the go. So I've got thatch. I think this is some type of thatch texture I've got, which is made from wood. And I've got a ton of wood because I've been cutting down loads of trees. So again, I'm starting to add a bit of detail. But look how I'm actually adding this thatch to the roof. I'm not adding it as a block on side of the, you know, onto the side of the stone. It's actually being added into the stone. Now, if you look in the bottom left, I am receiving stone back as I do this. That is because I am replacing the stone with the thatch roof tile. So I'm getting my stone back. So I'm actually kind of benefiting because I sort of need the stone more than I need the thatch. So that's going to allow me to build a bit more before I need to go out and start mining more stone. But again, mining resources is not exactly very time intensive, especially things like stone, because stone's everywhere. If you need something specialist, then yeah, it is. So what I've done now is I've excavated the floor, and I'm starting to add a fancy bit of like, I think this is diagonal something wood, diagonal grain wood. I've used plain wood at the front, so you can see the sort of different where the pillars are. And I'm sort of just filling in the ground to make it look a little bit more, you know, fancy, like it's been worked. And also, by the way, the view from this place is absolutely amazing. It doesn't look like much from the outside, not at the moment, well, at least not in this video. But what I'm going to plan to do is to continue building on this. It can kind of be like, I guess, like a little project on the channel where I'm going to obviously go through this, and it'll get more and more complex as I start adding more things to it. You know, and I'll revise sections of the design because some things, like some of the pillars, are not perfect and things like that. So yeah, I'm pretty much just filling in the floor now. You can see how easy this is. This kind of is like Minecraft because I'm just dropping cubes down. So what does it look like from the outside, what I've actually built? Well, it doesn't look amazing. I've put a few torches in as well, but you can see something's there. You can see that that looks like some sort of, I don't know, temple entrance. Okay, it's basic, but that was the whole point of this video, just to show you how easy it is to actually build stuff. And I've got my crafting stations behind me, but look at the view. Look at the view. This is why I picked this spot. The view looks absolutely amazing. But yeah, get stuck in, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Stylosa, this is Unit Lost, and I'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.